everyone. Today I would like to narrate a story titled Crab and Ant Mentality. What helps to survive? Once upon a time, there lived crabs and ants on a piece of land. The name of the land was unknown to both groups. There was a huge wall on one side of the land where the crabs lived. Krabby, the old crab king who was unwell, called his minister and said, I am getting old. We have to choose a successor to my throne. The minister replied, Your Majesty, I will make an announcement that all the crabs should gather for a meeting tomorrow morning. The minister followed the king's instructions, and as soon as the announcement was made, one crab said, I'll be the king and rule this kingdom. Another crab, in a condemning tone, said, Who could be a better king than me in this kingdom? Look at yourself. You're nowhere near me. All the crabs were in a competition to pull each other down. Ante, the kind queen ant, watched this from a distance. She asked all the ants to gather in a group. Quickly, the ants gathered. Ante said, Tomorrow, all the ants should leave before dawn in search of food and return late in the evening. Tinny, the tiniest and the most curious ant, said, Majesty, I seek your apology for asking this question. May I know why we should leave early and return late? Ante smiled and said, Tinny and all the ants of my kingdom, tomorrow is the selection of the crab king in the land where Krabby lives. I do not want any of you to get influenced by the selection process. I have witnessed it before. It's not a pleasant sight. It may spoil the peace, harmony, and the unity of our land. All the ants trusted their queen's words and decision. They said in one voice, Your Majesty, we will leave early and return late tomorrow. The next morning, all the ants left before dawn in search of food except little Tinny, who decided to watch the selection process while hiding behind a tall tree. It was time for the competition. All the crabs gathered and looking their best and ready for the game of selection. Krabby declared, pointing to the wall. All the crabs have to climb that wall. The one who reaches the highest point will be declared the king. All the crabs stood near the wall. When Ebby climbed, Bibi pulled him down. When Bibi climbed, Sibi pulled him down. Little Tinny laughed and she ran to the queen ant, Ante, and said, I'm sorry, Your Majesty. I did not listen to your instructions. I now realize why you wanted to keep the ants away during the selection process. But I must say, the crabs are really foolish. They think that by pulling down and crushing one another, a successor to the throne can be chosen. Ante said, I'm glad, Tinny, that you realized on your own that true victory does not come from pulling others down, but from staying together and supporting one another, just as we do in our kingdom. At the end of the day, the land where the crabs lived could not select a king. The process continued for many days, but with no result. One day, the unwell Krabby passed away. The land of crabs was left without a king. The crabs became so busy fighting each other for the throne that they forgot to eat and sleep. They lost their peace of mind. In the ants' land, however, the ants always lived in groups. When one was unwell or weak, the others supported them. Then they went in search of food together and shared what they found. They lived happily and contentedly. There was never a fight for power or authority. This story makes me wonder why human beings fight for power and authority. Like the crabs, they are often in constant competition with one another. They want to reach great heights by competing rather than collaborating. Each person wants to create a brand name, a public image of being powerful and admirable. Often the crab mentality is used to achieve this. Crushing others and climbing up the ladder may bring momentary joy. But if you truly care about your image and your brand, remember this, people are always watching the process. Tinny thought the crabs were foolish for fighting over the throne. That became the image she formed of them. Just as there was a Tinny in the land of ants, in our world too, there are many Tinnies observing how a brand or a leader succeeds. If building a brand name is important to you, then think carefully about the path you choose. Do you want to be known as a leader of a crab brand community or an ant brand community? Consumers are watching, and they aspire to associate with brands that follow peaceful process because people are drawn to brands that give them peace of mind. Do let me know your thoughts about this story by writing in the comment section. That's all for the day. Thanks for watching and thanks for your time.